Hi, I'm Praneeth, and welcome to my show, The Active Hour, where we discuss health and fitness, nutrition, and the blueprint to enhance your vitality.
For some reason, endurance sport is intimidating. That goal was being the best female cyclist in America.
You want to try this? And they were like, oh, yeah, I fucking love it. Can I get one? It's like, oh, nice,
And so I got smashed into that wall.
This is extremely fucked up.
Dog is sitting back here.
Oh my God, so fucking beautiful. Hey, Jess, how's it going?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you doing?
Morning, I'm good. How beautiful is it in Montana today?
I kind of need to actually turn my screen around for you.
Sure.
Can you see that?
Oh my God, so fucking beautiful.
I have a view of the ski resort, which has a dusting of snow. So
beautiful.
Sunny day.
So you ready for your 5 flights?
I have them ready right here.
Perfect. So I have my 5 flights over here.
Okay. Yours is, I need to get a plane. Mine's on a baby.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's do the sweet shot first.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice. Are you someone who likes sweet in general?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
I need sweet. They're up in mine, so I could drink that all day.
That's nice. So Jess, you started your career with triathlons and then you quickly excelled, becoming an XTERRA amateur national champion in 2011 and ranking 6th in the professional women's division by 2011, and then transitioning into a professional road cycling in 2015. This is an amazing journey. So when did this love and the sweet journey start for biking?
Well, as you could see out my window, I grew up in Whitefish, Montana. It's an incredibly outdoor, active community. When we were growing up, I come from pretty humble roots, and we didn't have a lot of financial resources in my family. So I didn't actually downhill ski or have cycling equipment, but there was still ways to get out, and everyone that I was around was like that. But I think I sort of knew that there was this endurance monster living inside of me, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And it's for some reason, endurance sport is intimidating. And I think that's why people are afraid to show up and do a 5K or try a gravel cycling race. But when I got to grad school at San Diego State University, that's when I got into cycling. I had some mentorship from my professors, and it actually transported me into a different place where I was planning on getting a PhD, and I ended up pursuing professional cycling because,
that's awesome.
As you mentioned, it was very natural for me.
That's amazing, though. So are you ready for your next shot, which is sour?
Yes, and I have lemon.
Cheers. I have lemon too. Okay.
Yep.
It's pretty sour.
That reminds me of some things.
So, speaking of sour, one of the sour moments in your life was a very deadly crash.
Yeah.
Talk me through that day. What happened in the crash? How did you recover? And how are you still biking with not having any PTSDs? Or maybe PTSD is a too big word, but just that fear of...
That definitely fits.
So, because I know a couple of my friends out here, a biking group, the guy got really bad accidents back to back 2 years, and he still rides every day. I mean, that's a lot of guts. But speaking of you, talk me through that journey.
Yeah, so just fast forward, after XTERRA triathlon, I started to focus on cycling because that was where I was really strong in. And I actually hired a running coach, and he came over and he did an assessment, and he was like, I think you should just stick to cycling. So I pursue professional cycling, and I signed for a really big team in the United States. And we are at one of the premier stage races in the US on the first stage. And we had just won a big stage race like 2 weeks prior. So our team is on a high. And we're cruising along at probably about 40 miles an hour. We're crossing a bridge. And I'm on the front of the peloton, which is the
Yeah.
cycling field when you're racing. And I see on my right-hand side just a cascade of riders crashing towards me. And because we
Oh,
were on a
shit. Yeah.
bridge, there was a wall and there was nowhere for me to go. And so I got smashed into that wall. And
Oh, shit.
the wall actually was like a concrete construction wall that had rebar in it. And so I was pinned. Both of my legs were impaled by the rebar, and I was pinned on the wall.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So it was a very scary, traumatic crash for a lot of people. I think 60 riders crashed. And I walked away from it pretty lucky. My wrist was broken, my entire wrist, every bone. And so
Oh, God.
my hand
Yeah.
was hanging kind of disconnected underneath me. And then both, like I said, both my legs were impaled. So my left leg was broken in 2 places. And my right leg, it was just muscle. So yeah, that was the most painful thing I ever remember. Normally in a cycling crash, the adrenaline and like the shock sort of takes over the pain. That was not the case with this crash. But I was lucky to have the support of my team behind me and a lot of really great friends that would do things like literally come over and help me take a shower. My sister came and stayed with me for a while. I had a variety of different surgeries. And honestly, I did not have PTSD from that crash because I didn't cause it. It wasn't me going too fast down a descent and overcooking a corner and, hurting myself. It was unpreventable. And I think I have the mindset of like scary things, I have to attack it head on. So I actually went back to that race twice and finished it.
First of all, so sorry that you had to go through it, and it's amazing that you've recovered completely and did that race again 2 times. But are you ready for your next shot, which is bitter
coffee?
I have unsweetened coca because I don't drink coffee. But yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, that needs creamer.
Yeah. So this is a taste that kind of lingers for a bit, which is bitter.
Yeah.
And one of the most bitter moments probably in your life was you worked as a private chef. You were training professionally. So you had to train when everyone was sleeping, 4 a.m. and go back to work as a chef and do all this stuff. So talk me through this hard times where you had to like balance both and still be good at both of them.
Well, the joke I like to make now that I'm 43 is that I could do it in my late 20s and early 30s, but I don't think I could do it in my 40s. I had a goal in mind, and I literally would put myself through anything to achieve that goal. And that goal was being the best female cyclist in America. I don't think it's any secret to anyone that there's a pay disparity between men and women's sports. And in a sport like cycling, that is even more apparent because there is no sort of franchisement, or even at that time, there weren't rules that applied to the different levels of teams. Now there are rules, and there are some pay requirements and even pregnancy leave requirements. So we're evolving very slowly, like molasses in the freezer, but it's happening. So I started a private chef and catering company based off of healthy food for people who were active and wanted to eat healthy. And I used that as a means to support myself. But I was working 15 to 18 hour long days on Mondays and Tuesdays, which are generally like could be considered rest days. And then I would be like traveling and racing during the later half of the week a lot. And so it was hard. When it got bad, I felt bad for myself. But in moments like after this crash, even though I was injured, I eventually got back to work. It actually is really nice. And it's the advice that I give to all young riders that are like me and they have that laser focus, is that you need something else in your life that you're pouring yourself into. It sounds very generic, but that balance when you have hard times and you can't train and race, that balance of something else that's fulfilling you and lifting you up takes the bitterness away. And so through this private chef and catering company, I ended up starting my own energy bar company. And that bar company was acquired by SaltStick, which is the company that I work for now. Even though it was very bitter, we can say that it was sort of bittersweet.
Yeah. I know that's very sad, right? Because you train your ass out, and even if you win, you don't make a lot of money, and you still have to work
No.
in a different profession to just, survive, which is extremely fucked up. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see, like you said, some light in the spectrum soon.
Yeah, I do too.
Are you ready for your next shot, which is spicy?
No.
I know you have a very bad spicy palate.
No. I know.
What do you
so
have
bad.
for spicy?
Sriracha.
Okay, yeah, me too. I have like a green spicy sauce with water. So
This is normally really
cheers.
spicy. Cheers. Whew. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can we get a taster?
I'm an Indian, but I technically should have a really good resistance power for spicy, which I had, but after I moved to the States 13 years ago, I just lost everything.
Your family like, oh, we don't even know him.
Yeah. So, speaking of bold moves,
Yes.
which you just mentioned that your company, the bar that you started, JoJé Bar, that eventually got acquired by SaltStick, that was a pretty bold move. And now you're a VP of that company. Can you talk me to how you were able to sell this company to Elite, SaltStick, and your work right now?
Well, I'll say I was not planning on starting a business. I knew nothing about being an entrepreneur. And I'm that type of person where I just jump in the water and then I'm like, oh, I'll learn how to swim while I'm in here. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say that I'm reckless or careless, but I am not afraid to do something that's scary. I also think the timing of it was really great because I started the bar back in 2010, and that was sort of the energy bar revolution. And so I was in the uptrend. And I started it as a small company just to eat a baked bar that tastes like a cookie. That spread through the athletic community in Southern California. And it was really just out of my own kitchen at first. I then got a small contract manufacturer in Southern California, and then eventually got into REI as a test, and then went national with REI. So we were in all of their stores, and that was a massive growth step. And it was at that step where it was like we either needed to fundraise or do something to get us to the next level and to support that growth. And at that time was when Elite, the CEO of Elite, contacted me. And the idea behind the Elite platform at that time was to have a suite of sports nutrition brands, a bar, a gel, an electrolyte brand like SaltStick. And so we were brought into the fold. And that vision has evolved as the environment and the culture of sports nutrition has evolved. And so I feel like we've done a really good job of paralleling that and making good decisions. And so we've folded everything into SaltStick, and we now focus on electrolyte replenishment and energy gummies. And electrolyte gummies. So we no longer have bar lines, JoJé included. But yeah, so I run all of the product development, all of the quality systems, and I'm also a big part of the community outreach with our athletes, with events, and just making sure that, everyone in our company believes in having a very inclusive and diverse culture among our employees and our athletes, and how we look at being a brand that welcomes everyone.
That's beautiful though, and it's very inspiring. What is your favorite flavor in that electrolyte mix? And thank you for sending over those bunch of goodies. I love them. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So I'm going to say we have two main product lines. We do a lot of things, but we have something called the SaltStick Fast Chews, and they're like a sweet tart. So it's a chewable electrolyte tablet, and you chew it and it absorbs through the lining of your mouth, and it can get into your bloodstream in like 45 seconds. So I actually created our new green apple flavor, and that flavor, we just did this funny Instagram poll where people were really dissing on watermelon, poor watermelon, but they were giving a lot of love to green apple. So I was like, I'm okay with that because I created
I
that
love
flavor.
green apple too. Yeah.
It's not like, again, that sweet tart flavor. And then we have the gummies, the energy gummies. And we do an amazing sour coated gummy called Sour Blue Raspberry.
Yeah.
And I was part of that gummy launch as well, and part of creating that flavor and the first sour flavor. And they taste too good to be true. They're blue from blue spirulina. They don't have any artificial dyes or sweeteners in them. So we're really proud of that product.
Yeah, a couple of my friends from the triathlon group also were so excited. I told them, "Hey, do you want to try this?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love it. Can I get one?" It's like, "Oh, nice, Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Are you ready for your last shot?
Yeah. It went a little flat, but I have this new sparkling water flavor that's like this tropical flavor that I love.
That's nice. Yeah, I have a dash of orange juice. And cheers. Feels very refreshing. Out of all your journey, if you look at your journey, start as a triathlon and a biker, and then starting a nutrition company, and now a VP of the SaltStick nutrition company. What's your one fresh moment that kind of lingers in your mind? And what are your next goals from here?
Well, I think that this is kind of a weird moment because I don't know if you could call it fresh, but it was when we made the decision to sunset JoJé.
Yeah.
And I luckily had the ability to be a huge part of that decision. That could have felt very negative, and like it was my baby. And so there was a part of my heart that was, wow, this chapter is coming to an end. But I think it also gave me the perspective of just sometimes that's what business is like, and you need to take the opportunities of what the direction of sports nutrition is doing, what makes the most sense financially, and then you kind of learn and grow. I think sometimes it's the time to keep fighting, and then sometimes you learn like when do you get to that line where like the fight is just not worth it anymore. And I don't even think we really got to that point. We had the foresight to see, sort of like I said, how that landscape was changing. And so to me, that was that was the first time I had ever been part of a transition or a moment like that. And it felt incredibly empowering to have, a company and a group of professionals helping to make that decision in the best way. And, feeling really proud of like where our brands stand now.
Yeah, that's very nice. And what are your next goals from here? Let's say, where do you want your legacy to go from here?
It's interesting to think about yourself having a legacy.
Yeah.
I am known for my flavor creations, so I want to keep that going. We have a big year of product launches next year. New fast chews flavor, a new sour energy chew flavor. I'm really leaning into the fact, like I said, I work with a lot of cool professionals who I've learned so much from, and the professional growth has just been really unexpected and such a pleasure. So I see myself in this field for a long time. And I definitely see myself growing the scholarship program. I'm getting more involved in the local mentorship program at the school now, and continuing to keep pushing that program forward, as well as within the cycling community. Definitely being a mentor and helping women feel equipped and welcomed into the sport. It's been a big part of it. But I have a secret goal for myself that is a total departure from anything that I've done.
Yeah.
And if you talk to me in 10 years from now, I really hope that I am sitting in the field at my rescue ranch, where I plan to have a rescue ranch for animals here in Montana. Because
nice, that's so sweet. Yeah.
my little rescue dog is sitting back here